The whiplash in the United States of America continues. Jimmy Kimmel is set to come back on ABC tonight. We have some reporting here. Disney announces Jimmy Kimmel's show will return Tuesday. Last Wednesday, we made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. It is a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday. And here's what I want to know. Why is it that a comedian that didn't say anything false nor insensitive, and this has been the way comedians are in this country forever, why are comedians and Democrats held to this standard? And then we saw a basic propaganda rally masquerading as a funeral that looked like a WWE event, wherein the top advisor to the president of the United States basically verbally plagiarized Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propagandist. And there's never any from these corporations or these oligarchs, there's never any onus on them. But then I remember, oh yeah, Elon Musk does Sig Heils, and he regrams and retweets and boosts all of these Nazi propagandists and Holocaust deniers on his own website. Yet, when it comes to having moral clarity, it's always put on the people that have it. And then there's this narrative that's created that is false. This false narrative that the left had something to do with the horrific murder of Charlie Kirk. And that's the lie. That's where the lie is. All of the reporting coming out right now is the FBI is basically melding and molding and pretzeling themselves, trying to figure out how can we pin this on the left? And they can't find anything, nothing.
Well, the reason, number one, we're at such a heightened state is because Trump is a titty baby and he can't take criticism. So Jimmy Kimmel hurt his feelings. But what I want to just keep arguing is it wasn't anything insensitive about Charlie Kirk. It was about how Donald Trump is such a narcissist. And ABC sucks. I'm so glad they lost almost $3 billion in stock because this is absolute censorship. And we are just so close with Stephen Colbert being gone. Now we have Jimmy Kimmel. He's coming back. We're just so close to completely abandoning free speech altogether.
And let's be clear that, yes, the initial thing was that Donald Trump is thin-skinned, and why on earth he thought it would be a good idea, being so thin-skinned, to run for an occupation where criticism is abundant is beyond me. But I'll leave that up to the psychiatrist. But this was government coercion of all of these sycophants that want to deliver for a party of one. And Carr, the FCC chairman, coerced these organizations. But underneath ABC, you have these syndicates, and one of them is Sinclair. And Sinclair Broadcasting came out with the following statement: they will not cooperate with ABC putting things back on, Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. Sinclair says, beginning Tuesday night, Sinclair will be preempting Jimmy Kimmel Live across our ABC affiliate stations and replacing it with news programming. Discussions with ABC are ongoing as we evaluate the show's potential return. So, who is Sinclair? Who owns Sinclair? What's their deal? Why are they being such babies about Jimmy Kimmel? So I looked into it. Kylie put up the article. David D. Smith owns Sinclair Broadcasting, and Sinclair TV chairman in 2018 said to Trump during Trump 1.0, "We are here to deliver your message." The right-wing broadcaster met Trump at the White House to pitch a potentially lucrative new product to officials. So we have Sinclair Broadcasting that is in the cult. And this David A. Smith has been a cultist of Trump and a sycophant of Trump since Trump 1.0. And he has propagandized local news organizations. And when the autopsy is done on this fascist takeover of this country, one of the biggest guardrails is the media. And you have all of these people in the media, both legacy media and new media who are cultists and or sycophants or just flat out pussies, that all they see is some short-term game here. They just are playing this short-term, oh, I'm going to get Trump elected. I mean, this guy is 85 years old in terrible health, but they get so blinded by the proximity to power and the potential for short term profits that nobody ever plays the tape through. Trump is surrounded by a bunch of people that lack impulse, control, and conviction. And so, Sinclair Group is going to refuse to put Jimmy Kimmel back on, which brings me back to my thesis sentence that these MAGA men are complete pussies. It's unbelievable. And I think I've been thinking about this a lot. And I think a lot of it is that white men have always been given the benefit of the doubt. They're always put into positions, and society as a whole just defers. Oh, well, it's the white man. He must know what he's doing. And this has proven to be a fool's errand when you see the deference that is given to Trump. And all of the deference given to him are all based on lies. He's a good businessman. Lies, bankrupts casinos, bankrupts everything he touches. He can't be bought and purchased because he's a billionaire. Lies because he likes the humiliation exercise of having people come bend the knee to him. And so we are in very, very dangerous times. And the media capitulation from big corporations like Disney all the way down, and Sinclair is a really big corporation too, but to propagandize the public is the Fox News model. And you think about Watergate and you think about what the Washington Post did, and those were really the heydays of journalism. I mean, now we're just at this propaganda and who can step in line to kiss this man's ass the most.
And here's the thing, the more you give him, the more he wants to take. He will not stop until he gets everything he wants. It's not like you pay one bounty and then you're done. And I was thinking about this, like you've got Fox News, then you've got Oracle and the Murdochs with TikTok. You've got Elon Musk with X. You have the CBS Ellis and Son over CBS and Paramount. Like, all of our news and media is controlled by right-wingers that do not care about anything but the almighty dollar.
Yeah, and it's really such a dangerous time because I keep thinking that maybe some other wealthy people will step up and form media that can report honestly. And there you see Rolling Stone and Vanity Fair and Guardian and others that are really trying to do the work to expose how dangerous a moment this is. But the important lesson here is Disney lost a bunch of money.
Mhm.
And everything about the Trump administration is exaggerated. Everything he says is exaggerated, and all of his support is exaggerated. And the one little hopium that I can find in that is that they will bend the knee to the consumer if the consumer really socks it to them. But I think it's super important to point this out. And it's kind of funny, but it's also very serious. Everywhere that a lot of Republicans go, Grindr is reporting problems and outages. We know this most of all with the Republican National Convention. And the same type of reporting happens with Grindr and it being flooded with a lot of users. And it happened after Charlie Kirk's funeral in Arizona when all of the cultists, very Christian cultists, I might add, Christian nationalists, homophobic, racist cultists descended on Arizona. Put this up. Grindr outages reported in the last 24 hours. And you can see on September 21st, that was the date of Charlie Kirk's funeral. And then you see this massive, massive, massive spike in use at Grindr. And I bring this up because these people are liars to their core. And there is so much self-hatred and self-loathing. And they are attracted to Donald Trump because he's getting away with shit.
Right.
And they deep down want to be able to get away with their own moral duplicity, being married, going to church, and talking about MAGA talking points and family values during the day. And then at night, they want to log on to Grindr and do gay stuff. And within the right-wing media echo chamber, this whole thing with Carr, the FCC chairman, started on a fellow named Benny Johnson's podcast. He famously said on Benny Johnson's podcast, we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. Now, speaking of right-wing media conglomerates, I've been looking on X quite a bit lately, and allegedly on X, there's a lot of reporting that Benny Johnson is in fact one of these duplicitous DL gay men. He has a wife and a baby, and he talks big Christian stuff during the day, but when he's traveling around doing podcasting stuff, he's doing gay stuff at night. Now, Benny, I don't care if you do gay stuff. What I care about is your brazen, hateful, dangerous attacks on the LGBTQ plus community when you yourself actively pursue this lifestyle at night and then in the morning go blame and shame and obliterate these people. And Benny Johnson is particularly dangerous. And I just want to play a clip for you all. And I also need to remind you that not only is he a DL demon queen, he is also a Russian propagandist. And these views that this guy gets, you guys, are in the millions. It was on his podcast that started this whole thing with ABC. The assault on our First Amendment, let this soak in. The assault on our First Amendment started on a guy's podcast who is allegedly paid by Vladimir Putin and allegedly has a whole double life wherein he engages in a lot of homosexual activity. Play the clip.
The Apostle Paul describes how God establishes the rulers of the nations. In the audience right now, there are rulers of our land. Represented right here is the State Department, the Department of War, the Department of Justice, the Chief Executive. God has instituted them. God has given them power over our nation and our land. God saved our president, President Trump, from an assassin's bullet for this moment.
So as you can see, this is incredibly dangerous Christian nationalist rhetoric. And from a man to an arena full of people who, when they leave there, go participate in DL homosexual activity. And in a normal world, I have a complete empathy for people that are raised with a lot of religious shame and religious abuse, because I've grown up around these people, and it is a problem for them ongoing in life, the religious abuse that they endure. And for a lot of gay people, they have to go through that tunnel, confront their parents, confront their teachers, confront their pastors, confront their peers, and say, I am gay. And they get judged and berated and belittled. But on the other side of that is a deeper person, a person that is more open-minded, a person that's more accepting, a person that has evolved to have pride. But these people here are the most dangerous of all because they want it both ways. And that's at the epicenter of this support for MAGA, this moral duplicity and this cognitive dissonance and this outright hypocrisy. And Benny Johnson, this is a major power player in the MAGA movement. And he is allegedly a raging DL homosexual who's also on Vladimir Putin's payroll.
I think about what would America look like if religion was put on the back burner and all this stuff about gay being bad and against God's law and all that bullshit that they sell, and that people that were gay could find happiness and be out and they wouldn't have the shame. I feel like the reason these Republicans are so mad and cruel is because they have to live a life that is not authentic to themselves, that they hate what they cannot have. And they're so angry. And it's religion. And it's the fact they just can't come out of the closet and be who they are. I mean, I just really feel like that.
Yeah. And I think that also inherently in this breed of Christianity, this type of Christianity, kids are told at a very young age, you're not born good. You are not worthy. And so it is a very a backpedaling thing your whole life that you never feel worthy. You never feel like you're good enough. And you only can live by this complete set of rules here, which means that you have to judge people that are different. You know, it's all inherently very white nationalist. All of this is an extension from the white nationalist churches of the KKK.
Absolutely.
And they want that back. And I know from living in this state that the Christians that are like this, that I know, that I've been around, they are the most screwed up individuals I've ever met. There's just I mean, it's almost you immediately sense there's something off. I mean, you've been in these circles forever. And now that you've gotten some distance from it and you're around these people again, do you see it more clearly?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The judgment, the entitlement, I deserve better and I am better because I'm chosen. So I get to judge you. I get to shame you because I'm special.
And that's
Fucking
kind of
gross.
what Benny was saying. Look at all these chosen people
Right.
sitting here that God chose, for the government. Look at all of these God's chosen people here. Meanwhile, Benny left there, probably abandoned his wife and kid, and went and power bottomed it up somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. These hypocrites that want to belittle and shame people that they don't think are as good as they are when they are the worst. The
Yes.
worst that this country is putting forward, the worst of humanity, are hypocrites like this. And they found their imperfect vessel in Kanks.
Absolutely.
All right, that's all we have. We'll be back later with more news. Kanks is trotting into the United Nations. I'm sure it's going to be an abject embarrassment and shit show. Another day in America. We'll see you all later.